Open Cookbook. Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to make pepperoni chips. It's really easy, it's really simple, and oh yeah, here we go. Here, this thing here, you can see this paper here. This is where I talked about another video. This is where I use the catch stuff in it, so because this is what causes all of this discoloration. As you can kind of see here as I'm laying these pepperonis on, there's this discoloration. Now, this can easily be cleaned off of the dehydrator if I was like to wash and everything else, but it's really unnecessary. And there's a lot of reasons why it's unnecessary, but that paper I have there catches it and prevents it from dripping throughout the machine and then dripping through the bottom. I actually also put another paper underneath just to catch it, just in case. I also want to kind of bring up here that, like I said, there's discoloration in the oil here. One of the things about it is the oil itself is actually reusable and useful for a lot of other applications. For example, I'll use pepperoni oil on my skin and everything else. Reduce, reuse, recycle. And this is reusing and capturing a thing. So like I say, it's actually really nice for health and beauty care skin product. Same thing like butter and other stuff. It's a very nice oil. I also can use it to stain wood, surprisingly, in a very nice golden color. But that's neither here nor there. You also can use it in other food applications. I mean, it is just fat that's being drained out, which also means as you do this process, it does reduce the amount of fat that's in the pepperoni. However, when you're on a carnivore diet, that doesn't seem to be too much of a big deal. And anyways, this I run it for about like an hour to an hour and a half. If you run it too long, you'll get really much like literally a chip, like it's like hard or whatever. What I like to run it at is more like a really nice piece of bacon. It almost seems like it's nice firm. Like if you had like no fat in your bacon and it was just like perfect and it would bend and so forth, you'll see when after this stuff is done. And also the best time to eat it is hot, or pretty much right after you turn it off. And here's the other kicker too: if you run these things and you don't want to eat the whole thing, which I don't eat the whole thing at once, I only eat like 1 or 2 plates of this at a time, you can do stuff like you can just leave them in there and then return it back on for like 5-10 minutes and it'll reheat them up and it'll be just fine. Just don't do it too long, because once again, when you dehydrate it just basically drains the oil out. Also note that it takes about like I said, I usually do it at like 105, like 105 degrees Fahrenheit, or you can go up to 110 if you really want to, but it takes a little bit longer or whatnot. And also remember, it depends on your slice of pepperoni and everything else, and your environmental conditions, whether or not this is like how long it takes, but roughly about an hour to hour 10 minutes. And so I usually just go do something else, and like I say, I do this on my carnivore diet, and I basically eat this is my meal prep for the entire day. This is all I eat, just this and 3 eggs. And it seems to work pretty good for me. At least I've had some really good success with it. It's not like, necessarily the most perfect diet in the world, but these are made carnivore possible for me because it's actually really tasty and I actually enjoy the flavor, and I haven't had much cravings for other things when on this. So it is what it's worth, and also it's a lot cheaper than if you just ate steak and butter every time like some people, subscribe. And like I say, we'll just set this on here and we'll turn it on and leave it on for the time, and we'll come back to it. Oh, I gotta turn it on. I didn't have it plugged in. Sorry. Now it should turn on. Okay, here's after an hour and like 10-20 minutes, whatever. See how shiny they look and everything else? And they're not like a full chip, like they have all of the oils, you know, taken out and stuff, and you can see like different layers. Will kind of like heat a little bit differently, but if you do about out of 10 minutes, it seems like to kind of do them overall. See, that's what the paper looks like when you have like a ton of that stuff in there, and it soaks it all up. I remove paper layer and put it in our jars. Okay, so that's it. You can normally eat them with no dips or anything like that. However, I usually use 2 dips. One here is this mustard. I like these little jars, and it's like I said, you put the lid back on and it stores right in the fridge, and you don't have to like worry about wasting sauce if you don't use it all. Also, if you notice, like, you'll see here, like, in this dip one, you'll see that discoloration. That's just from the pepperoni oils. It doesn't really affect the flavor or do anything or have any problems. And I like to use dip. Let me say this is another one. This is pretty good. It's like one of my, like, preferred ones. Mustard is really good too, but I like this. Yep, and like I said, you can use other types of dips or whatever, but these are the 2 I use because, once again, low sugar. And that's pepperoni chips.